So we're very welcome to this episode of our Resilience webinar series. We're honoured to be joined by Mahabir Pun today, a Nepalese entrepreneur and founder and director of the National Innovation Centre in Kathmandu in Nepal. So Mahabir has led a remarkable life, which will certainly come across to you in his presentation today. And we're really grateful that he's given his time to share his story with us and let us know the opportunities for us to get involved and support his work in Nepal. So Mahabir grew up in a village in Western Nepal, and he started off his career as a teacher. He then moved on to do a bachelor's in science education in the University of Nebraska at Kearney in the United States, returning also to do a master's in education administration there. And it was during this time while living in the United States that Mahabir saw the huge potential for information technology to transform the education system and economy of his home village and villages throughout Nepal. This was in the late 90s, early 2000s. And this was really what set Mahabir on his journey of bringing wireless technology to villages throughout the Himalayas. So Mahabir is going to talk today about his experiences, those of him and his team, how they addressed the challenges that they faced and how they overcame them, the micro enterprises that they set up to help fund the initiative, and how the wireless network looks today. He's also going to talk to us about his work at the National Innovation Centre in Kathmandu, which he set up back in 2012 with the aim of fostering research and development to develop innovative products for the Nepalese economy. So just before we get started, I'm just going to share a very short poll with you guys. So if you could take just literally 1 minute to complete it. If you joined our webinar last week, you'll be familiar with the setup. So it's just 2 short questions, and it's for us to just get a sense of your knowledge before the webinar, and then we'll have a very short a very short poll again at the end of the webinar just to assess your learning there as well. So I'm just going to share this there now. If you could take a moment, as I say. So Mahabir will be addressing these points throughout the course of his webinar. Okay, so far I've got that. Most people have voted, and we've seen that most people don't know if you can set up a long-range wireless networking project with a 900 AP Wi-Fi router. So you'll find that out throughout the course of the webinar. And in relation to whether Nepal remains an economically poor country because it doesn't have a culture of innovation, most people say that this is false. So again, we'll see what insight Mahabir will have to share with us on this. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Mahabir. So Mahabir, if you'd like to share your screen there now, I've set you up, and I'll go off video and audio. Thanks guys, enjoy the webinar.
Okay, you show it now?
Yep, I see that fine, Mahabir, yeah.
Okay, so today I will be speaking from Nepal. I am speaking from Nepal. I am at the National Innovation Center here in Kathmandu. So the topics I will be, talking about is at the beginning, I will be talking about the community-driven development projects that I did in the mountains, and then I will talk about the initiation of people-driven National Innovation Center. It has been 28 years. I mean, all these things I have been doing it in the last 28 years. So let me share this here. First, because you are from, Engineers Without Borders, CWB groups, let me share that I also work with the EWB groups of Korean Institute of Advanced Advanced Science and Technology, Korea. So we worked for 5 years in different projects. So I don't want to show all the pictures that we did in 5 years, but let me see. This is the micro hydro project, 1 kilowatt generator they installed. They came and installed in the village. They also built a solar warm house. It's a warm house, passive house, what they call it. And they also install solar power for lighting and a pump for water pump in the remote mountain. This is it's a community run uh, community run a lodge. So and this is how it is working. So we work for 5 years. So I also visited Korea during that time, and I discussed, and we did several projects. So we are talking about this resilience, post COVID, this pandemic. So let's start from the sustainable development goal. I mean, I don't want to, read all this. All these things. But these goals was set up in 2015. So that was, you know, after 23 years, you know, after I went to the mountain village and started doing things. I mean, these goals were not set up when I went to the mountain village in 1992 and started working with the communities. So I didn't have any idea about fulfilling the sustainable development goal of the United Nations. But let's see how many goals I became able to you know complete while I was working in the mountain. So we started planting trees. So far we planted more than 1.2 million trees in the mountains of Nepal, and those trees in the last 25 years, and those trees have grown a big forest. I started income generating programs to to help people to make some income. For example, I started farm, yak and a cow crossbreeding farm. Solar is a camping ground where solar where we put solar shower, hot shower, and the people who were traveling in that area were very happy. And we started cheese making programs also to sell the cheese to the tourists. We also started paper making, paper products, beekeeping, from jam making, weaving cloth. And so all these things were done to help people to make some cash income, uh, and to create some job opportunities, or in order to help, in order to reduce the poverty of the area. I mean, those were small things I did with the villagers. I didn't do it by myself. I worked with the villagers to do all these projects. Then I introduced computer. So at the beginning, we didn't have money to buy a computer. So I collected spare parts from the used computers from America first, and then some other countries, and build them in wooden boxes, and introduce computers in the rural schools. Then I got involved in uh, in building wireless network to build communication system between the mountain villages, because that time there was no telephone line in any single village in Nepal. There was no telephone. So there was a big problem. So I started building this long range wireless networking project using this small device, indoor device, a router. And using this router, I became able to connect 34 kilometers from Pokhara to my village. So that's how it works. And these are the early setup, because uh, there was no right equipment available that time. So we had to invent, we have to innovate things to make it work. So these are the pictures of the wireless networks that we keep building for the last 20 years in the mountains, and we have connected many mountain villages to the internet. And so just to give you some ideas how I work to build a wireless network to connect the villages. And so we connected about 200 villages and schools to the internet, and we use that internet for education to improve the quality of education in the rural areas, to provide some health services through telemedicine actually. So both providing quality education also is SDG goal. Providing better health services is also SDG goal, and the digital literacy programs. So this is how we work. Then we started community-based ecotourism program. So the reason I call it community-based is because this program was started by the community. It's not started by any individuals. It's started by the community and run by the community, and all the benefits, all the income that comes from the program goes to the community. So this is two trekking routes. One is 5-day trekking route. One is 10 days trekking route. We built it, and along the trekking route we built lodges like this, where trekkers can stay and eat food and rest. So this is how it works. And then we also built a 50 kilowatt micro hydro power station to provide power to 4 lodges. And our goal was to create a model of zero carbon emission lodge in the Himalayas, using the power for cooking, heating, lighting, washing. So we want to build more laws like this. The goal is to shape the nature also, because we are talking about climate change. In order to reduce the climate change, we have to do something in the mountain, in the Himalayas. The trekkers, the trekking lodges are using firewood, using firewood to cook and heat for heating. But what we are trying to build is we built this 50 kilowatt hydropower station and use the power for cooking, heating, lighting. That way we have turned 4 lodges completely zero carbon emission lodge. Also, I think climate clean energy is also one of the sustainable goals. So rural healthcare program, in order to, because there is no hospitals, there is no medical doctors in the rural areas of Nepal. So we started building small clinics in the mountain villages, and trained some village women, and they were there was the only clinic available for the villagers. So now we are building model of resilience rural healthcare program, where we have built a central hospital or a hub, and from the hub we have connected several other small clinics. So those clinics get support from the hub. So that's what this is, a clinic hub where we use solar power. Also there are machines, medical devices for help. So what we are trying to do is we are also trying to meet the sustainable goal of the United Nations to provide better health services to the villages. So this is how I spent 22 years in the mountains doing different community development works. I didn't know anything about sustainable development goal of the United Nations, or the big developed countries. So I was just working with the communities, trying to help meet the urgent need of the people. So after working for 28 years, I realized that just doing community development works in the rural areas of any country is not enough to make that country economically prosperous, because there are so many organizations, development organizations, doing community development course, trying to make the community better. But what I realize is that is not enough. Community development works helps to make the life of these people little bit easier. Making something little bit easier is not, to make them prosperous. So that is why what I learned in 28 years is I learned a very important lesson. That's what I call. I learned a very important lesson, and the reason why Nepal is economically poor country. And here I am talking about Nepal, but this idea applies for all these LDC, least developed countries. Why all the least developed countries are poor, economically poor? Why the developed countries are rich, economically rich? So I learned it. I learned that Nepal is economically poor because Nepal never had and still doesn't have the culture of innovation. Because we don't have the culture of innovation, we don't innovate anything, and we don't produce anything, and we don't commercialize anything. That is how we don't make any money, and that is why Nepal is economically poor. Nepal is too miser to spend money for nurturing the most innovative, creative, and talented people of its citizen. We don't spend any money, and all these poor countries do the same thing. And Nepal never tried to capitalize and commercialize the innovative ideas of the most innovative and talented human capital. So all these poor countries are poor because they don't capitalize their most talented and innovative human capitals for the economic development of the country. And poor countries never learn that innovation is the growth engine for the economic development. So that is why I thought about starting the National Innovation Center. This is just a give example, because we don't have any innovation center, we don't have culture of research and innovation, we don't innovate anything, we import everything. This is the picture. So we have around 92 to 94% import of everything we import, and we just have around 6-7% export. So we have a huge trade deficit. Why is this huge trade deficit? Because we don't produce anything, any commercial product. Why don't we don't produce any commercial product? Because we don't have this culture of innovation and the culture of doing, business. So that is why poor countries are poor. So that is why we started this innovation center, and at the innovation center we provide support in 4 steps. In the first step, we provide full financial support and mentoring for accelerating the prototype design of the innovators. They have to come up with innovative ideas. Then we provide them support. Step 1. So step 2, after they become successful in step 1, then we provide again full financial support and mentoring for product development, the commercial product development. So whatever they need, we provide that. And then after they develop a product, we provide support for getting patent right, trademark, or intellectual property right. Then we connect them to the investors, and we let them go. This is how we are working right now. This is how we are supporting. This is the research center lab we have. It doesn't look like research lab, but we started like this, and we built this 3 years ago. We registered our organization as a non-profit organization, 8 years ago. But for 5 years we couldn't do anything. We are just talking and talking and talking. So 3 years ago we built this infrastructure, and we are running this innovation center. Some of the pictures that I want to show, we have these young innovators trying to develop drone. They are trying to develop electric vehicles and convert the whole vehicles to electric vehicles. and this is a e-learning box. This is actually a computer system with a projector, assembled there, and where we provide learning materials, e-learning materials there, and we have a baby incubator. They're developing bread making machines. This is an NIC workshop. So they are working different in different projects. Right now, they are working on 33 different projects. Out of the 33 different projects, about 6 or 7 of them are in their final stage now. So this is how we are running, and this is funded. How it is funded? This is funded by people. Actually, we have raised a little bit less than $1 million so far, and all the donors are farmers, low income, middle income people, laborers, students, teachers. We don't have any government support, and we don't have any support from any donor agencies or donor countries. And our goal is to make it fully sustainable in maybe 10 years. So we are doing different things. We are developing drinks from ginger and Himalayan herbs, and we are planning to sell that. We are starting a software company as well to make money, to make it sustainable. We are considering to invest on tourism industries, but because of the corona, the tourism industry, we haven't been able to do much now. So, but that's the plan. So we are also planning to produce export quality Himalayan mineral water and sell it. And we are also, our long term plan is to build a 10 megawatt hydropower station and sell the power to the government. So how can you involve in it? So you can involve at this innovation center. I mean, EWB can be involved with innovation center in different ways. You can contribute your ideas and skills, because we established this innovation center without any idea and any money. So we need your ideas also. So you can also sign up to become a mentor. We have right now we have 60, 70 young people working on different projects. We need to mentor them. You can help by being a mentor. You can contribute maybe some time to share about this project with your friends and relatives or whoever with your groups. And you can provide one time financial support. What we are telling people is, if they like our what we are doing, they can provide financial support, but that's just one time. They should not provide second time financial support. And uh, and um, they you can also help by becoming investors for the ideas that they develop here. So let me again finish with this sustainable development goal. There are 17 goals set up by the by the United Nations. What I see is all these 17 goals will not be fulfilled if we don't, we don't support the poor countries to start innovation centers and to help the poor countries nurture their innovative and talented people. Because it is from the mind of innovative and talented people, they create something and commercialize it, and they create job opportunities, and they create the economy of the country. And if they develop the economy of the country, all other goals will be fulfilled. If the country is developed, there will be no hunger, zero hunger. If the country is developed, the economy is developed, then the people will have good health. They will have quality education. There will be gender equality. There will be clean water. There will be clean energy. So everything will be, all these 17 goals will be fulfilled if we help the poor countries, to create their economy through innovation. But for that, they need to give the innovation the topmost priority. They need to develop a culture of innovation. Without developing culture of innovation, they are not going to innovate anything. If they don't innovate anything, they don't, then they will not be able to produce any commercial product. If they don't produce any commercial products, then all these goals will not be fulfilled. There will be hunger. People will not have good health. They will not be able to have quality education. Everything such and such. So therefore, what I tell, what I have been telling is, if we really want this 17 sustainable goal to be fulfilled, we must give the topmost priority, or the poor countries must give the topmost priority for research and innovation, and for building the industry, for building the infrastructure. That's how they will be able to create job opportunities. If people get job opportunities, then there will be no hunger, there will be no problem of health. They will have quality education. So this is what I have been thinking. So this is a small step, we have taken in Nepal. So if you are interested, you can also be part of it. I invite everybody from around the world to be part of this campaign to build innovation centers. So this step can be and can go along. So let me finish with this. This is something like teaching a man to fish rather than giving a man a fish to eat. So, and that's how all the sustainable goals will be met. That is what should be the 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 dream, or that's what should be. That's what we should do. After the corona pandemic will be over. That's how we will be able to develop the resilience model, resilience development model of a poor country. That's why what I would like to share is, this is very important lesson I learned, and I don't know if you agree with me. If you agree with me, that's okay. If you don't agree with me, you don't have to. That's also okay. So you can visit during this corona pandemic. We have developed 10 different things, and we are distributing it to the people, to the health worker. Out of those 10 things, like for example, PPE, face shield, corona swabs collection booth, and aerosol box, ventilator. We are building also ventilator, repairing ventilator. We have we have built a robot and disinfection box, and dead body bag, and there are several things we are working on it. And distributing it. You can visit our website nicnepal.org. So you can also you can see the activities that we are doing during the 6-month long corona pandemic, and you will also be able to see the other activities that I mean innovation related activities that we were doing in the websites. Thank you much. You can also always contact me if you are interested by phone or by email. Also, you can share. I mean, this my slides. If you are interested, you can share this slide with your friends, and you know mm, and talk to each other. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Mahabir. Really interesting to hear your experience, and thank you for also touching on the sustainable development goals. And you're very right in that industry and innovation really has to be at the core for so many other goals to be met, and quality employment. So thank you for sharing that. So guys, just before we move to the Q&A, I'll just share, as I mentioned, just a very brief poll. So if you just bear with me 1 second. So it's just really to see just 2 quick questions we've picked up from the webinar today, and hopefully again it's been interesting learning for you. I know certainly it has been for me. Questions I wouldn't have been able to answer myself as well last week. So. So yeah, I think when you shared the statistic, Mahabir, about the imports exports, it really does show the situation so clearly, and in terms of the need for change, obviously for that to be viable for any country. So so yeah, hugely important. Okay, so we've got most people who are still with us join there. So yeah, so in terms of the first one, obviously you guys picked up, it was under 10%. So only 6 to 8% of the trade import export ratios, exports from Nepal, and 92 to 94% imports. And then Mahabir and his team created zero carbon emission lodges using a 50 kilowatt hydro power station. So a great initiative for the Himalayas, and contributing, as he said, to combating climate change and working with renewable energy. So yeah, great to hear about the technology you're using. And again, for anyone interested, if you want to talk about that with Mahabir, I'm sure he'd be very happy to discuss with you. So guys, if you have any questions now, Mahabir will be very happy to take them. I can either put you on audio if you'd like to ask Mahabir yourself, or if you want to share a question anonymously. Okay, thanks guys. I'll share the results if anyone wants to see. So does anyone have any questions at the moment? But yeah, people are always shy at the beginning, or have to formulate their thoughts as well. It's a lot of information to absorb in a short space of time. Oh, Declan has one, I believe. Hang on, I'll put you on audio there, Declan. So,
it's not really a question, it's just sort of a comment. Mahabir, we spoke through email before a few months ago. I'm involved with EWB, so I just wanted to thank you. It was a fantastic webinar today. I really enjoyed it. And we'll definitely follow up about supporting the Innovation Centre. We've got an Innovation Academy here, which it would be a perfect fit for it. So I just wanted to thank you for your talk and just say that we will be in touch very soon about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are ready right now. During this pandemic, we are working with the Stanford University of America to build the ventilator, new types of ventilator, and some other devices here. We also work with the university. We have TU Delft, University of Netherlands. So we are working with foreign universities, academic institution as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for today.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, Declan. So actually, just before maybe while other people have a chance, one question that from myself, Mahabir, so obviously in the 8 years you've been running the Innovation Centre so far, have you got to the point with any products where kind of they've actually been launched to the market, and any products have been sold kind of externally in different countries, exported, or how are things in that sense?
Yeah, we are hoping to launch maybe 4 or 5 products within. Actually, we could have done something if there were no Corona pandemic. I mean, by this time maybe 1 or 2, but because of the pandemic, and all our engineers are working to working for COVID. So maybe within a year we will have about 5 products, not on a huge commercial scale, but at least on a small scale, it will be in the market. Right now we have actually 2 products in the market. They are using it. One is baby warmer. They are using it in the rural health clinics. We have
Okay.
built some of them, and they are testing it.
Mm-hmm.
So another device we have built and people are using is the monkey chasing device. You know,
Monkey
monkey
testing.
chasing
Okay, right.
chasing.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Monkey.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
Uh, the
Okay.
reason is
Very
because
interesting.
monkeys are the big problems for the farmers of Nepal.
Oh, yes.
And they all their crops are destroyed by the monkey,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's a
They're a pest.
huge demand of this device. So
Mm.
so we have built something small device that
Mm-hmm.
produces loud sound,
Oh,
and
yeah. Scary.
this is just like a gun
Mm-hmm.
uh, that produce a loud sound, and the monkeys get scared and go away. So that's
Mm-hmm.
working. I mean, not
Very good.
perfectly, but it's
Yeah.
working
Progressing.
somehow.
Very good.
Okay. Mm.
Excellent. Great. That's really interesting to know. And certainly we'll share that with the students in our Innovation Academy, as Declan mentioned, to kind of let them know what products are close to final stages at the moment. So I'll be able to give any contributions or assist. So we've one here from Ekraj Osha. So I'll unmute you there, Ek, 1 second. Okay, you should be able to speak there now. Hopefully. Can you speak direct, or would you like me to read out perhaps? Maybe I will. Okay, he might not be able to unmute, so I will read it out to you there, Mahabir. So excellent, interesting presentation. Good memories of the day. As college head, those days invited him to GIHE to speak to my students at the college. It was most inspiring for them. My brief question, how important do you think, based on your experience, is good governance for development to take place in a country like Nepal? Clearly, you could consider elaborating on the need for emphasizing meritocracy to prevail in the nation. So that is next question.
Okay.
So the importance of good governance for development.
Okay, that was the question from who?
From Ekraj Ocha.
Okay. Good governance is the must. Even if we do innovate things and a lot of things, if there is no good governance, then I mean that the innovation will not be able to develop the economy of the country. If there is corruption, I mean it is not possible to produce anything commercial products and sell it in the market, or create the whole economy. So good government is also is very important, but that is not happening in Nepal. Unluckily, we are unluckily. So, and also doing this, in administrations and all these activities, we need to have, the people with the right, right people who have the ideas about doing things, running this governance, running this projects or offices. So we need to have experienced people do that. But what has been happening is that's also not happening here. Mostly, people are not getting the right position based on their meritocracy. So
Yeah, it's an important area to address, but a
Uh,
challenge,
the,
as you
the
say.
the reason the reason the reason it is happening is because we have another pandemic, huge pandemic, or what is called nepotism in Nepal. So and that's the problem of not only Nepal but all the least developed countries.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a huge issue to address. Certainly, and I suppose that's again where collaboration to enforce and have mechanisms, perhaps at international level, but yeah, obviously as well, communities and themselves as well pushing for change. So thank you very much for that, Ek. Are there any other questions at the moment from any of our attendees, or just any other comments you'd like to share with Mahabir? Okay, if there's no more questions, then we might wrap up. Yeah, no, it seems to be it for the moment. Yeah, we're quite a bunch today. But look, Mahabir, thank you so much for your time joining us today. We really appreciate it. Yeah, I will share the presentation or certainly the Mahabir's contact details with you guys if you would like to reach out with him. Reach out to him and get in touch to help the National Innovation Centre or their work in any way. But yeah, for the meantime, thanks so much for joining us, and thank you also to Mahabir very much for joining us in his evening from Nepal. So I'll be in touch, and we hope you can join us again next week. Next week we're going to be joined by Riccardo Mastini, and he's going to be talking about degrowth, engineering a utopia. So he's going to be looking at the question of degrowth in developed economies and countries to facilitate survival of our people and planet. He is PhD candidate at the Autonomous University of Barcelona in political ecology. So it brings a very interesting perspective, something very different for our series. A bit controversial. We hope you'll enjoy it and engage in debate with Riccardo. So yeah, we look forward to hopefully seeing you next week, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the day wherever you are in the world, guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mahabir.
Thank you
Take
for
care.
your time, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with
Absolutely. No, we're really delighted and honored to have you with us. So thank you, Mahabir.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.